Hema Mataji, can you hear me?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so I think you can hear, we cannot hear you, so that's okay, it's fine.
You can sit here also.
Yes, please come, especially kids can sit down here and let the grown-ups sit on the couch. Kids have more flexible spine and joints, so they can sit here, they can sit crisscross. That's fine. If there is space, that's fine, but okay, that's fine. Mataji, you want to sit up there? If you get tired, please move. Okay, let's start. So, let's see, who all have Bhagavad Gita at their home? Okay, everybody has Bhagavad Gita at their home? Yeah, okay. Do you know why we are discussing Bhagavad Gita today? I mean, this is Christmas, right? Why are we discussing Bhagavad Gita? Okay, nobody knows who else? What is so special this month? Gita Jayanti, right? What does that mean? What does Gita Jayanti mean? Huh? Was spoken by Krishna, right? In this month, on the day of Ekadashi, actually. So tomorrow is Ekadashi, and the last Ekadashi that went, Mokshada Ekadashi, that's the day when Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita more than 5,000 years back. So it's a very important day because Bhagavad Gita appeared for us. Krishna gave us Bhagavad Gita. It's called Gita Jayanti. So I thought today we'll commemorate that appearance day and discuss about Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so many of you already have Bhagavad Gita at home. Okay, who have read a few verses of Bhagavad Gita in their life? A few verses, okay. And who has read Bhagavad Gita completely, all the chapters entirely? Okay, who has read Bhagavad Gita 3 times completely, and 3 times Hari Bol for them? Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Who has read 2 times completely? And who has read 1 time completely? Okay, very Hari Bol. Okay, Hari Bol for everyone. Yeah. Even reading a few verses is pretty good, but still, yeah, we need to read completely. And a lot of our teachers say that actual reading of a book does not happen until you read it the 3rd time. So please get there. So let's get going with this. It's a very important book. It's our main scripture, and we'll talk about why it is so important. Okay, who has not heard of Bhagavad Gita ever? No, don't be shy. This is, I'd say, okay. Who has not read Bhagavad Gita ever? Okay, everybody is very spiritual. That's amazing. That's very amazing. And we have some free copies of Bhagavad Gita, some small ones. Please feel free to take. Even if you have one at home, remember that this is something you should have one for yourself. So just like your cell phone, right? You should have one copy of Bhagavad Gita of your own. That's your own copy. Actually, there should be multiple copies of your own, but at least one that you call yours. Okay, and you can write in it, write your realizations, your doubts, your questions, your whatever. Understanding of Bhagavad Gita, interpretation, anything new you suddenly realized, all those things you can write in it. So please feel free. This should be gone. Okay, this should be gone. These are very few. So we did not put too many. These are just very few. They should be gone by end of the evening today. Okay, so have the kids here. How many kids have read Bhagavad Gita? Okay. Okay, very good. Good job. Very bold, very bold. Good. Okay, so those who have not, we'll get them started. And next year we'll do some classes. We are starting Bhagavad Gita classes from January or February, mostly for adults, but also something for kids also we will start. Okay, so let's get going. So Bhagavad Gita, it's I'm just doing a complete overview. Remember that on each verse of Bhagavad Gita, one can speak for hours and hours. So this session in no way does any justice. This is just a trailer to a very important movie, you can say. It's just a very quick glimpse, okay? But I just want to give you an intro to this book, pique your interest in it, so you feel inspired to read it completely. So as you know, Bhagavad Gita was spoken more than 5,000 years back, and it was spoken on a battlefield of which city, which place? Kurukshetra. Yes, Kurukshetra, right? So it's called Dharam Kshetra. It's a place where dharma is supposed to win. Why is that that's such an important book? We are saying it's a very important book, that it was spoken on a battlefield. What is the, why can't it be spoken like this? Like, sit comfortably on a couch and have some chai, coffee, and then, coffee with the Arjun. Why not like that? Like coffee with Karan. Why not do that? Why not have a session, where he could clear his doubts in details? Why such a hurry for such an important book? Okay, Navya knows. Let's see. I want to engage more people. Why? What is the reason to speak on in the at the battlefield?
Arjun was confused and he was like in a dilemma that why I have to battle against my all the relatives. So and he was hopeless. So Krishna motivated him and that ultimately I am doing all the things. If you fight, then also but they are all have to die.
So yeah, perfect. So who all are very busy in their life? Everybody's very busy, right? That's a big problem. We're all very busy. Arjun was also very busy. So if you look at all your lives, actually all our lives are like battlefield only. We are constantly fighting some battles. It may not be an external battle, like we're not soldiers or warriors, so it's not a proper literal battle, but it's a battle with our own mind. It's a battle with our own bad qualities or bad habits, or not able to follow a certain discipline, or our battle with our anger, or battle with our envy, battle with criticizing people, fault finding, difficulty with in your profession, or difficulty in your family life, with your relatives, with your spouse, with your kids are not listening to you. So constantly we are fighting some battle, right? We're fighting a battle with our body, or with our mind, with our ego, with our intelligence, with our senses, and then externally with the people, with the world, with many things, right? With the weather, if nothing else, house related problem, domestic issues, some kuch kharab ho gaya, something needs to be fixed, whatever. So many things going on at all times. Thousands of things, so many bills to pay, whatnot, so many insurances and whatnot. So we are all very busy. So Krishna wanted a very busy type of environment where which people of Kali Yuga can correlate with. So that's why Bhagavad Gita is so beautiful. It gives us a quick rundown of the entire wisdom of Vedic scriptures, because we don't have time to listen to the whole Vedas, right? We can't listen to 4 Vedas and 108 Upanishads and 18 Puranas. So he wanted to give a quick crash course in the entire Vedic philosophy. These days, that's what people do, right? We go for a quick crash course or a quick workshop. So just 45 minutes quick, and you understand everything. So this was like a quick workshop for him on entire Vedic philosophy, on entire Vedic wisdom. Okay, and I will go through all of that in 10 steps. Okay, I've divided this book in 10 steps. Now, sometimes Bhagavad Gita is misinterpreted by people. They say, okay, Arjun is fighting for his kingdom, to get his kingdom, so maybe it's a patriotic book. Is it a patriotic book? Does it mean that, okay, we have to be a desh bhakt and we have to fight for our country and we should have all those nationalistic ideals? Is that what is it about? No, right? So it can be misinterpreted. That's why we have to follow the versions of Bhagavad Gita that are given by authoritative teachers, spiritual teachers who have gone into the depths of Bhagavad Gita, who have not only read it, who don't only have it, who have not only read it 1, 2, or 3 times like us, but have actually made Bhagavad Gita their life. They have imbibed it in their life. I was asking you how many of you have read it. Some people would say, I have memorized all the 700 verses. There was one person who came to Prabhupada and he said, Prabhupada, I can recite the entire Bhagavad Gita in 45 minutes, just like Krishna. Just like Krishna, because Krishna did it in 45 minutes. I can do that. So Prabhupada said, okay, very good, wonderful. Have you applied one verse of Bhagavad Gita in your life? So applying even one verse of Bhagavad Gita in your life is the struggle. Okay, so it's not just reading, it's not just reciting or just memorizing the verses. The main thing is to imbibe it in your life and to apply it not once but on a daily basis. It's a struggle on a daily basis that we have to apply Bhagavad Gita in our life every day. Okay, we have to remember these principles every day. So I'm going to try to break it in simple principles that we can follow and we can apply on a daily basis. Okay. So yes, so coming back to how we should read books of authoritative acharyas. So if you see on the screen, this is called Bhagavad Gita as it is. Okay. But Prabhupada called his Bhagavad Gita as it is, or Yatha Roop, which means it's being given to us as it was spoken by Krishna to Arjun. Okay. Since you're all very advanced and you all have Bhagavad Gita, a lot of you have already read it. I'm not going into the background of Bhagavad Gita. I'm not going into the details of how the Mahabharata war came about. We are starting directly from Bhagavad Gita, okay? Because I'm assuming a lot of you already know the background. So Prabhupada called it Bhagavad Gita as it is, or Yatharup. Now the function of Bhagavad Gita is that after reading it, you should not remain as it is. Okay? Bhagavad Gita as it is known to transform the hearts of millions of people. This is one book that has transformed the lives. It has changed the lives of millions of people. So it's an evidence-based book. You know, like I'm in medicine, I'm a doctor. We always use evidence-based, which means we don't give any medicine to anyone that has not been first tried and tested. It has to be thoroughly researched. It has to go through a strict, trial. It has to go through proper authority, and then it is given to people. But so we know what are its side effects and benefits and everything. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita has been tried and tested by millions of people. I am one of those fallen people who has tried, applied it in their life, and it works. It's magic. It is literally. I mean, this is Krishna's words. They have the potency to transform your heart. So whoever is still thinking about whether we should have, some people are confused whether we should keep this book in our homes. Is it a book that's teaching us violence? That's another misinterpretation, that it's teaching us violence. No. It's not teaching us violence. It's teaching us the highest dharma, the highest purpose of our life. It is teaching us how to live our life successfully, so we become successful, how to fulfill the highest potential of our life. We are all wasting our lives, how to achieve the topmost potential of a human life. It teaches us not only how to live in this world, how to go back, go get out of this world as well. So many things, many principles, and we'll go through some of those. But yeah, some people have these notions, that Bhagavad Gita is actually, it's a religious book, so it's only applicable to a certain, maybe it's only for Hindus, maybe it's only for Indians, maybe it's only for brown people. Bhagavad Gita is not a religious book. It's a book of science. So as you can see, actually, Einstein, and there are many other scientists. I think lately you have heard of Oppenheimer, who read Bhagavad Gita and who quoted that famous verse 11.32, time I am, right? Henry David Thoreau, who's a very famous philosopher, Ralph Waldo Emerson. So many people, Mahatma Gandhi, of course. So many people who have read Bhagavad Gita and have felt transformation in their heart, all the way they conducted their lives, the way they their relationships were, their professional lives were, their social lives were, their health was, the way they spoke, the way they dressed, the way they ate. Everything changed, everything transformed just by reading Bhagavad Gita. So this is not just a religious book. This is not a patriotic book. This is not a book that's teaching you violence. Those are all misinterpretations. This is actually a book of spiritual science. Okay. So just like we have material science, like I'm a doctor, so I study medical science. There may be some computer engineer who studies computer science, or rocket scientists are there. Different people, right? Different people who have studied various types of material sciences. So how to interact with the material world, how to use the material elements, earth, air, water, fire, ether, and use them for our benefit. That's what we do, right? We make drugs, or we make injections, or various things we make. Those are all material elements that we use for our benefit. Bhagavad Gita is a book of spiritual science. So Bhagavad Gita tells you not only what matters, what is outside in this world, but actually it tells you about what really matters. The real thing that matters is not just this body or this world, but the actual soul, the actual super soul, Paramatma. Those are the things that matter. And it helps you to connect the two. It helps to connect the soul, the jiva, to the super soul, Paramatma. Okay, so those are the things that matter. What else matters inside us? Our qualities matter, right? What qualities we have. So Bhagavad Gita teaches you what good qualities we should have, what should be the character of a person. So it not only deals with externals, it does not only fix the hardware, because all material science can do is fix the hardware. But Bhagavad Gita actually fixes your internals, your software. It fixes your heart. It fixes your mind. It fixes your connection with people. It fixes your connection with Bhagwan. It fixes your connection with Mother Nature. It tells you how to control your mind. It tells you how to utilize your time in the best way. So those are all very internal, very intrinsic things. Those are the software of our life, which we don't learn in any of the other material sciences. So that's why it's a scientific book, but it is teaching you about subtle aspects of our existence, about love, about qualities, about character, about conduct, about mind. So all those are subtle things. We cannot see those things. So it does not teach you about things that can only be seen, the matter. It teaches you about the things that are actually our software, that are very intrinsic to us, that actually make up our existence. So let's go deep into it. This is a quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson. When he read Bhagavad Gita, he was so amazed, so wowed that he said, I felt like an empire spoke to me. Nothing small or unworthy, but very large, very serene, consistent, the voice of an old intelligence. So this is eternal knowledge. This does not change. Again, our material knowledge can change, but this is eternal knowledge. This does not change. This was given at the time of creation by Supreme Lord to Brahmaji, and this knowledge, he keeps bringing it back every few yugas. He keeps coming back, and he keeps, invoking this knowledge in our existence. So it's not just for householders, it's not just for sannyasis, it's not just for brahmanas, it's not just for retired people, it's not just for men, it's not just for Indians, any caste, color, creed, gender, nationality, religion, anybody, it's applicable to everyone. Krishna keeps saying Sarva Bhuteshu or Sarva Bhutanam. Bhut means living entities. So it is applicable for all living entities. It's not just for a certain type of people. So we should not be shy in giving this book to our people at our workplace. You live in US. It's such a welcoming country. People actually are very broad-minded. People are actually very receptive to any type of knowledge. You know, people are reading all these books of self-development these days, right? All these, they watch all these podcasts of various influencers. They watch, read all these blogs and all these TikTok videos just for self-motivation, just for self-development, right? Everybody wants to become the best version of themselves. So this is the best self-development book. This is the best motivation book. I mean, this person was completely depressed. This person had given up his purpose. He was ready to flee from the battlefield. He did not want to fight. He had given up. It's like, imagine if I have my exam tomorrow and I tell my parent that I'm not going for this exam. I'm not going to go for this exam. I don't see the value in it. So I'm completely depressed, I'm crying, and I'm hopeless. I'm in a hopeless crisis type of situation. And somebody gives me a motivational talk. So this was a motivational talk. So it not only, so people here are very receptive actually to those, this type of wisdom. And everybody knows that Vedic wisdom is much beyond than anything that they know. Even before the time of Jesus, before the time of Moses, before the time of Buddha, right? So this is much beyond. This is eternal. This is coming from the time of creation, actually. So we should not be shy in distributing Bhagavad Gita. This is actually Gita Jayanti month, and we try to give our the thing that we follow in this month is called Live to Give. So we have this Live to Give project that we are following. So you should give this Bhagavad Gita knowledge. You should learn it yourself. You should have Bhagavad Gita. You should read it. You should apply it, and then you should give to others also. But let's see why this is so important. So there is a verse on the, and after this we have to do Mangalacharan. We'll say some prayers, but this was just an intro. There is a verse on the screen where Adi Shankaracharya says that Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Geetam Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva Eko Mantras Tasya Namani Yani Karmapi Ekam Tasya Devasya Seva. So he says, Adi Shankaracharya has written a song called Gita Mahatmya. It's a collection of verses, and this is one of the verses in that, where he says that if you had to read one Shastra, then you should read Devaki Putra Geetam, the song spoken or sung by Devaki Putra. Bhagavad Gita. Geet means song, Bhag means Bhagwan, Vad means sung or spoken. So song sung by the Bhagwan. That's called Bhagavad Gita. So if you have to read one Shastra, don't go here and there. Don't go looking here and there. You can just go to one book. Actually, all the self-development books, you can think of any book you want. The Power of Now, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, Who Ate My Cheese, Secret. So many books are there, right? And some of you may have read some of those books. Their knowledge is coming entirely from Bhagavad Gita. So it's just, being portrayed in a more modern way. But it's all ultimately coming from that Ek Shastra, which is Devaki Putra Geetam. Then he says, Eko Devo Devaki Putreva. There is only one God, one Devta that you should follow, and that's Devaki Putra. Eko Mantras. There is only one mantra that you should chant, and that's Tasya Namani Yani, his names. Karmapi Ekam. There is only one karma or action you should perform, and that action is Tasya Devasya Seva, that Lord's service. That's the only action that you should perform, actually. So this is Gita Mahatmya. So let's get started. Let's say some prayers. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manopishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapad Kamlam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Satam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay, so let's start with the first step. Okay, I've divided into 10 steps. I'll try to go quickly. So, and we did couple weeks back on Gita Jayanti, actually we did 2 sessions. I will post them in the group. Please feel free to see those again. Again, those are the processes of connection with the Lord that are mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Let's go through this. Start with the step 1. So, Bhagavad Gita opens with Arjuna, who asked Krishna, can you bring my chariot? Can you move my chariot in the middle of the battlefield? So this is the scene. So the scene is that battle is about to start. The 2 armies are facing each other, okay? And Arjuna tells his chariot driver Krishna, can you bring my chariot into the middle of the 2 armies so I can see both the armies, okay? At this point, Arjun is very confident. At this point, Arjun has no confusions, no doubts, no depression, nothing. He's very confident. He knows he's very skilled. He has no fear of anything. Right now, he's very brave, very composed, calm, sober. Okay. So with great authority, he tells Krishna, please take my chariot into the middle of the battlefield because I want to evaluate or see both the armies. Okay. So this is the verse, and you can read it on the screen. We don't have time to read too many verses, or do you want to? Would you like? Would you like to? Would you like to keep going? We can go either way.
We can just read together.
Just read together. We'll just recite the verse. Okay. अर्जुनुवाच सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये रथं स्थापयामि अच्युता यावदेतान् निरीक्षेऽहं योद्धुं कामानवस्थितान्. So this is our situation, okay? We all have a lot of problems, but typically we are very confident, very assured of ourselves. We know we can handle anything. We feel that I have my loved ones to help me, I have my money to help me, I have my spouse to help me, or my government will help me. I have my police officers, my doctors, my lawyers, my insurance agents. I have so many. I have plugged so many resources everywhere that can help me. My house will help me. It's a nice, big, strong house. I'm taking care of my body. It will help me. So we are very very sure of ourselves. So we have no doubts. No, we are very sure of our intelligence. We'll find a way. If there is a problem, if there is a solution, I'll find a way. So in this is the situation of Arjun right now. Very clear about his purpose, and he goes into the middle of the battlefield. Now, this is what happens. When he goes to the middle of the battlefield, he sees both the armies and he sees his loved ones on the other side. Now, Arjun is not fearful. Okay, he knows he will win. Krishna is on his side. Okay, yet he becomes very doubtful suddenly. Suddenly, this grief washes over him. Suddenly, he becomes overcome by this sudden overflow of emotions and sentiments, this overflow of compassion. Okay, he starts sweating, his hands start shaking, his gandhi starts falling. Now, somebody might say, is he scared of losing? He is scared of losing. But what is he scared of losing?
His family.
His family. So, what is the problem here? Problem is his attachment to the family members, right? He is very attached to his family members. Now, Bhagavad Gita opens with Dhritarashtra. If you all know, the first verse and the only verse spoken by Dhritarashtra, and is Dhritarashtra fearful?
Yes.
Yes.
What is he fearful of?
His son's dying.
For his son's dying. So he's also fearful because of his attachment. Then the first chapter evolves into Duryodhan, who comes on the battlefield, and he is talking to Bhishma, he's talking to Drona, he's saying, oh, look how powerful our army is. Look, this is my chief, this is my warriors, right? I have Karna on my side. He's very boastful, very sure of himself as well, right? Do you think Duryodhan is fearful?
No. Yes.
Yes.
Duryodhan is also fearful. What is his attachment? He does not want to lose this kingdom. He does not want to lose to Pandavas. He has great envy against Pandavas. He doesn't want to lose to them. He is fearful as well. And all these three people are fearful because of their attachments. So attachment to what? Attachment to material things or relationships. This is the nature of this material world. So because of our bodily consciousness, we develop a lot of bodily attachments, material attachments. Okay. And whenever those attachments are about to be broken, we become very fearful. So when Arjun came in the middle of the battlefield and he saw, I'm going to have to kill these people, those attachments that I have with them will be broken. My loved ones will die in front of me. He becomes fearful. Okay, so anytime our attachments are taken away, we will become fearful. So, and this is what Krishna does. Krishna exposes our fears. Sometimes we are very fearful, but what we do is like Dhritarashtra, we either just ignore them. What did Dhritarashtra do? He just ignored everybody's advice. He just ignored everyone. He's just talking to Sanjay. He's ignoring everything. What did Duryodhan do? He's also fearful, but what did Duryodhan do? He managed the situation with diplomacy, with flattery, with deception. Some people he's flattering, some people he got into his army through deception, some people he manipulated, right? So he's dealing with different people like that because he's very ambitious. Arjun, also fearful, and Krishna exposed his fears. Look, because he was so sure of himself. So Krishna said, okay, let's go in the middle. And he exposed his fears. This is who you are. You are very fearful because of your material attachments. This is you, who you are. This is who we all are. Okay. So, but Arjun did not do what Dhritarashtra or Duryodhan did. He did not ignore it. He did not hide behind diplomacy or deception or flattery. He started talking to Krishna. He was a very simple-hearted person. So this is a quality of a simple-hearted soul, of somebody who's in a satoguna, in mode of goodness, that when they are in doubts, when they come across these fears, when they become confused, when they are very depressed, they will talk to their well-wisher. So at that time, Arjun was full of doubts. He was overwhelmed with grief, and he spoke to Krishna. And he became, look at that picture. He became very. He said, "I cannot fight, Krishna. I will not fight." He put down his Gandiv and he said, "I will not fight." So what did he say to Krishna? Let's all say together. Karpanya dosho bhagata svabhava princhami tvam dharma sammudacheta yashretam nichitam ruhitan me shishyaste hamshadimam tvam prapannam. He says, I'm very confused. You can read the translation on your own. He says, I have lost all my composure. I don't know what is good or bad for me. This karpanya dosh, this miserly weakness has come upon me. And Krishna also calls that dosh hriday dorbalyam. That this is the weakness of your heart. And we all have this weakness in our heart because of our material attachments. We all have this weakness. And whenever the day comes when those attachments are broken, we will also feel like Arjun. So that's why we need to read Bhagavad Gita, because if we are already not in that situation, the situation is coming. Okay, there will always be a crisis looming in this material world. There are always dangers at every step, that our material attachments will be broken. So we will be in a crisis sooner or later. So we need to know this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita before we get into that crisis, not after. So that's why it's not a book for retired people or people that have finished their services and at the end stage of life. This is for youngsters, people who are starting their lives, who are entering into their life's journey, because you're sending your kids into the world, you're sending your kids into colleges, and they will be bullied, and there'll be so many things going on. They need this spiritual foundation. They need this motivational talk from Krishna, where they know how to handle those fears, that depression when it will come upon them, and that grief, when that overwhelming situation, the crisis comes, how to deal with it. So he says, I am now your disciple. So he took the best course of action between all three people. He surrendered to Krishna. Right now, his surrender is very superficial. Okay, it's very partial, because after saying that I am your soul surrendered unto you, or I'm your disciple, he's surrendering to Krishna as if Krishna is his friend, a learned person, a spiritually advanced person. So it's a very partial type of surrender. After saying this, he puts his bow down and he says, I will not fight. Okay. So this is a partial surrender. So Bhagavad Gita will take you from partial surrender to complete surrender. Okay. So this is the journey. So whenever the situation comes, when we are in doubt, we have insecurity, when we have these existential crises, when we're depressed, Krishna or Bhagavad Gita will take you on a journey from doubts to clarity, from insecurity to purpose, from existential crisis to awakening. Okay, what is my purpose? From bodily consciousness to spiritual consciousness, from partial surrender, or from where we just find our own solutions, to surrendering to Krishna for solutions. Right? So, so right now Arjun is in this existential confusion. Okay, he does not know what to do. So he says, so he wants to learn everything from Krishna, and Krishna did not speak anything until this point. So for the whole first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna does not say anything. He, just like a good friend, he's just listening to his friend's problems, and he exposed the problem for him. He put him in front of his attachments and showed him how fearful you are of losing this. So, so now he will take Arjun on this journey from this breakdown to breakthrough. Okay, so we'll go on this journey. Krishna will give this complete knowledge from where Arjun will know his actual purpose and his proper conduct, his dharma. Okay. Now, Bhagavad Gita has these 5 core topics, 5 main topics. Who knows? Can everybody share something? What are the 5 main topics of Bhagavad Gita? Yes.
It's about the soul, like Atma.
So, let's
What is material nature?
material nature or prakriti. So you said soul or jiva, prakriti, time, kal factor,
Karma.
karma, okay, action, Bhagwan, Ishwar. So these are the 5 main topics. The easy way to remember is your jiva, soul, you have to connect to Bhagwan. How do you connect? Through action, karma, okay? And where are we living? In prakriti. What is controlling us in this prakriti? Time, okay? So imagine a big circle, that's prakriti. We are the jiva. We want to get out of this prakriti, that is Bhagwan. We want to make a connection. That action is karma. And we are controlled in this prakriti by kal or time factor. Those are the 5 main topics. And the underlying theme of the entire Bhagavad Gita is connection with Bhagwan. Okay. What is another word for connection with Bhagwan? Yoga. Yoga means connection with the divinity or connection with the supreme consciousness, with absolute truth. That's called yoga. There are many ways to connect with divinity. It can be through action, then it's called karma yoga. It can be through knowledge and detachment, then it's called Gyan Yoga. It can be through love and devotion, it's called Bhakti Yoga. It can be through meditation, Dhyan Yoga, or various bodily postures, exercises, breathing exercises, 8-fold steps of Ashtanga Yoga or Hatha Yoga. So there are many types of yogas, okay? So Krishna is ultimately connecting Arjun with him. Because until and unless we connect to Krishna, to Bhagwan, to our source, yes.
Which is the highest form of connection among all?
Yes, let's see. Which is the highest type of yoga?
Bhakti yoga.
Bhakti yoga. Very wonderful. Everybody knows.
Krishna
Wow.
says this in Bhagavad Gita.
Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. We'll come to it.
Arjun asked him the same question that you asked.
He asked him that. And Krishna says, you want to recite? Everybody recite. Yoginamapi sarvesham madgatinantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yuktatmo mata. He says, Yoginamapi sarvesham, out of all type of yogis, people who do my bhajan with faith, shraddhavan bhajate yo mam. Those are the topmost type of yogis. That's my mat. That's my opinion. Okay. So Krishna's opinion is what matters to us. So if he says that's my opinion, we go by it. Okay. So that's the best process. So I was saying, unless you connect to Krishna, you will always stay in bodily consciousness, material consciousness, which means material attachments. And so there will always be constant fear because it's the nature of this world and this body to give you fears. Okay. So unless you connect to the supreme source, the absolute truth, you will not be free of fears, free of attachments. So this was the first step. Then Krishna starts not just, so when he starts the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita, first thing he tells him is, who are you? Who you are, okay? What is your identity, okay? For example, I'll give you an example. As a doctor, let's say I have to give a sick child an injection, okay? Now, when I give that injection, will the child cry? Yes. Will it hurt? Yes. And now I say, I will not give this injection because it's going to make the child hurt and cry. I don't want to hurt him. I don't want to make him cry. I will not give this injection. So will you come and tell me, but Mataji, you are a doctor. You need to give this injection for the best of that child. Otherwise, child will stay sick, right? You will tell me, right? My identity. Because right now I'm confused about my identity. I'm thinking of myself as an ordinary person, but I'm a doctor. I need to give that injection. So Krishna tells him, you are not this body. You are looking at everything from a bodily platform. You are actually a soul. You are not this body that you see. You are a soul. You are not a female. You are not a brown colored person. You are not just an Indian. You are not just a US citizen, or you're not just Hindi speaking, English speaking, just a Hindu born. You are actually a soul, which is which has a very advanced purpose to fulfill through this body. So the soul is here to fulfill a purpose through this body. Body is just an instrument for the soul. So Krishna, first thing he tells Arjuna is that you are a soul. You're not this body. Okay, the whole problem is happening because you are thinking of yourself as a body. Who knows that they are a soul? Everybody knows? Who thinks that this body? And we will finish with this body. No further journey. You think we are a body?
No.
You think we are finished? We'll finish with this body?
That's what I think.
Yeah. So what's up with all these kids that die in the mother's womb? They didn't get a chance to do anything with that body. They just passed on. What happened with that body? Huh?
If they die within the womb, then the body.
Why didn't that body get to do anything? If you are the body, why didn't that body should have made it to, full-fledged life and everything? If we are the body, why don't we get to live a proper life, everybody? Why doesn't everybody get proper chance? Why is it that some people are born handicapped, or some people are born poor, or some people are born with very limited resources? It's very unfair.
The world is unfair.
So who made this world unfair like this?
Karma.
Huh? So where did karma come? But that child in the womb did not do any karma. Why did he die? Because we die with this body, right? But you were saying we don't get another body. We finish. Just bad luck. Just random. Just everything is random. So the sun goes up every morning and comes down every night, and seasons change, and Christmas falls on December 25th every year. So this is all random. Who says everything is random in this world and everything happens just by chance? Is there somebody that has designed this software of this material world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Krishna.
Who? Okay. Nobody else thinks there is a software engineer? Who all are software engineer? Huh? There is somebody to make that software, right? Somebody has plugged a program in the computer. So this is the computer. There is a program. So there has to be a software engineer who plugged it, right? Is he that unfair that he just did not give any chance to that poor body? If we are the body, didn't get to do anything with that life. It doesn't seem right? Doesn't make sense.
What is
So-
the same thing with a temple or a medium?
Yeah.
That soul.
Body is known as moving temple.
So what you do with that body, what the soul does with that body generates the karma. And then based on that, you get the next body, right? And so if you are born in an unfortunate situation, you were born with, poverty, with handicap, with very limited resources, then that implies that your actions in the past life were something sinful or poor or low, right? That's why you got a bad destination. So similarly, so that means we are on a journey. The soul is going through on a journey through different bodies, through different species, through actually different planets. So it's what we do with this body actually really matters. And human life out of all the species is very important, because with this you've been given great resources. Do you think in human life we have been given more intelligence than animals?
Yes.
Who has opposable thumb here? How many animals have opposable thumbs? Who has discriminating intelligence to judge good and bad? Who can speak a proper language, right? Write books and read books, right? Design all these artificial intelligence softwares and go to space and do whatnot, right? Humans. So humans have this extraordinary abilities, intelligence, talents that they have been given, the function of speech, very high acute intelligence, intuition that has been given to us. So in human life, we have to use, the soul has to use that human body for a very advanced purpose. And the most important purpose of that human body is
To go back
to break this cycle of getting different bodies, to break this cycle of acquiring different bodies, right? To keep circulating through different bodies. So this is what is shown here. So let's recite this verse. So Krishna first of all reveals Arjuna's identity to him, that you're not this body, you are a soul residing in this body. You have to use this body for a function, for a purpose. And that function in this body for you is that you are a Kshatriya, you need to fight. Just like that doctor needs to give that injection, that Kshatriya needs to fight and establish a righteous rule in the kingdom. The right king should be representative of the Lord. You cannot let these aggressors, these violent, fallen people be the king. You have to take them down and you have to establish a righteous person on the throne. That's the dharma for you, for this body that has been given to you. That's what you are trained for. That was your skill set. You cannot let it go. You have to use that skill set. So you have to show up for your exam tomorrow. You have to give that injection, even if it hurts, even if it is uncomfortable and inconvenient. You have to do those things through that body. So you have to serve the purpose that has been given to you. Okay. So let's recite this verse. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantira praptir dhiras tatra namuyati. Let's recite a couple more about how we are not this body and the soul. Yeah. So one of the verses Krishna says that soul leaves the body just as you change your clothes. Has everybody heard of this, right? So let's say that one. Vasansi jinani yatha vihaya navani grinati naro parani tatha sharirani vihaya jina anyani samyati navani dehi. So this is the next thing Bhagavad Gita does. Krishna gives the identity that you are not this person, body made of matter. You are actually soul, and the soul is actually not only it is part and parcel of the Lord, but more importantly, it is servant of the Lord. Okay, so whenever you do an action through that body, that action should be done as a service to the Lord. If you are a servant of the Lord, some of you may have had experience with some maid or servant that you had. Now, let's say I tell my maid to, bring some groceries from the store. She brings those groceries and make food. Who should she make that food for? For me, right? Not for herself. अगर वो खुद ही बना के खा जाए, तो क्या हुआ? There is a problem for her, right? I will not next time give her the money to go shopping and make that food. She will not get that opportunity to do that again. So when we work with this body, since we are the servant of Krishna, we should use this because this is given by Krishna. We have to use this in service of the Lord. If we don't use it in service of the Lord, then we get a reaction. Just like that maid will now get fired, or she will get some money cut out of her pay or something, right? She will be scolded something. So similarly, we will also get a reaction unless we perform an action in service of the Lord. And that principle is called, so this is now we are reading the second principle. The first was that we are not this body, we are the soul. Second principle is we are given this body and this body needs to be used in service because we are the servant. So this is called karma yoga. Okay. Yoga means connecting to the supreme through your action. So that's karma yoga. So it's not just action, it's action which has no reaction. Okay. Action that gives you no reaction. It does not bind you, it does not entangle you. What is the other benefit? Like, okay, so I'm not worried about liberation right now. I'm not worried about entanglement. Do I need to? Can I not just work for myself? Can I not just? I'm doing all this stuff. I just want to do it for myself. Whatever money I make, I just want to spend on myself. I don't want to. I have not seen Krishna. So, is there any benefit of this principle while existing in this world? Can this principle have more value than just a spiritual principle?
Because it's temporary.
No. So my question is, this principle of karma yoga, how does it help us? If we, let's say one of your friends, okay, they don't believe in Krishna, they don't believe in service, they don't believe we are part and parcel of the Lord, they don't believe, Prabhuji said, I don't believe I'm soul, so I don't think I'm part and I just want to enjoy my life. Can that principle be still used by this person of karma yoga? Have you heard of?
Unless we do it, we keep Krishna in center.
Forget about Krishna. Person does not believe in Krishna. Have you heard of the concept of servant leadership? Hmm? Have you heard of the concept of the leaders being the servants these days? Let's say that person does not believe in this concept of Krishna or yoga or connecting with divinity. How is this applicable to him? Should everyone work in service for each other?
Yes.
Should everyone work with detachment? Should we always be worried about what is the final outcome?
No.
Should we enjoy the process?
Yes.
Does everyone want to enjoy what they're doing?
Yes.
Do they want to focus on what they're doing and perform it joyfully with full deliberation, attention, intention, right? So that is karma yoga. To not worry so much about the outcome, but to actually stay very focused, very deliberately perform an action with give your best to it with full intention. Actually, this is the mantra these days, that we should not be very much outcome oriented, we should be process oriented. If you're process oriented, success will automatically come. That's the real success. The more you're worried about just the outcome, you will be anxious, you will be frustrated if you don't meet that goal. You will be fearful, right? Because you did not enjoy the process. एक वो मूवी आई थी, सब लोग हिंदी बोलते हैं ना थोड़ा, हाँ एक थोड़ा little.
But I was saying, like, everything in the world is like outcome oriented.
Yeah, but we have to move from that mentality. And that is what is changing these days, actually. If you read these self-development books, the motivational books, they tell you, this is not coming from Bhagavad Gita. These quotes, this is Henry David Thoreau. So again, of course, he has read Bhagavad Gita. So he says, success comes to those who are too busy to be looking for it. Means they are so much enjoying that process, the action itself. They're completely immersed in it. They're joyfully performing it. So they're not so worried about the outcome. Outcome will happen if you give your best to the process, to the action itself. So become process oriented, and that is what we have to teach our kids. Yes, Prabhuji.
Have a process, you need to have an outcome, because the process needs to relate it to the outcome. So if I'm not attached to the outcome, I cannot develop a defined process. So saying that you're completely detached from outcome, for me, it's difficult, because I decided an outcome. To achieve that outcome, I have developed a process.
So you're saying you're using the wrong word. You should say I'm goal oriented. You should not say I'm outcome oriented, because outcome is not in your hands. You can have a goal. I want to get 100% marks in my exam. Outcome is the result that is not in your hand. That's decided by previous karma, that's decided by many other factors. That is the problem. And I get so many patients in my clinic who are so controlling, they want to control the end result. You cannot control the end result because you're not the supreme controller. If you are goal oriented, you devise a plan, you give your best, but once you have done that action, you let go. That's called detachment. So you let go of that outcome, whether or not it happens, it's Krishna's will.
Yes, but I'm saying if I'm not attached to the outcome, I cannot devise a plan, or attached to the goal, I cannot devise. And this karma, I think this is one of the things which I kind of believe in, which is like, if you look at a lot of the mentality, is like, मेरे कर्म में ही नहीं होगा तो मेरे को मिलेगा ही नहीं, मतलब कुछ करेगा तभी मिलेगा ना, नहीं पुराने जन्मों के कर्म थे.
No, that's wrong mentality anyways. Yeah. That's bad usage of karma principle. So that's not what we believe in. Attachment is also a wrong word, exactly. So using the word attachment very loosely, you should not be attached to the outcome, because that's how people get frustrated, depressed when they don't get the desired result. That's how people commit suicide. That's how when they lose their job or don't get the desired promotion, they tank down. But you should be goal oriented. Yes. Now remembering that not everything is in my hand. Even action is not in your hand. Forget about the outcome. Whether you can successfully, somebody wanted to come here. They may not be able to make it here because Krishna did not sanction it. So even that action may not happen. Forget about, then even if they made it here, they may not be able to listen to it, because like the other day, I got a very bad headache and missed my own spiritual instructor's talk because it's not in my hand. So forget about outcome being in your hand. Even the process is not in your hand.
I think this is the philosophy which I do not agree with, because That's what happens when a lot of things happens bad in the world, and like, it was not in
I
my
think
hand.
it's all about absolute surrender
So-
to the divinity that it is in his control or her control.
You have to give your best.
Keep it all in the hands of the God. That's why a lot of things happen. Like, ऊपर वाले की इच्छा थी इसलिए हो गया, मैं क्या करूं?
No, but it's a combination. It's a
It's a
combination.
it's a
Effort
complicated
needed.
principle,
Yes.
and you have to really think about. You have to do your action with the best intention, and then I'll give you. When something good or bad happens, you can take you never blame Krishna. Devotees, for example, never blame Krishna when something bad happens. Okay, but they are not so egoistic that so अगर मेरा patient ठीक नहीं हुआ, right? I'm not going to go into depression thinking that I am the one that caused the problem. I have to know that there is a very complex factors, variables that are involved in that patient's outcome. His own karma, my own karma. Krishna did not allow this. Destiny was not meant to be. This was not meant to be. But I should be satisfied because I did my best by that patient, right? Similarly, when something really good happens, when I was able to treat them and they became perfect, I should not take all the credit for that either. I should know that I did my best. Now, if the best happened, Krishna's desire, it was also that patient's karma that he was going to get the best outcome of this, not just mine. So there is an interplay of karma, there is interplay of your action and destiny going on. In all this, the only thing you can do is desire to do your best effort for anything that you undertake. Okay? And that should be done with the mood of service. Ultimately, whatever happens is a complex interplay of various variables which we cannot control. Okay, so I cannot just go into depression because किसी की car hit हो गई and some. I was following the rules. I was doing my best. I did not break any rules, but this happened. So there, but you won't tank down. These people that are very outcome based, they will tank down. They will not be able to come out of that depression because something bad happened. So we really have to, if you did your action wisely, intentionally, with prayer, with service, with detachment, you will get through the situation, whether or not the outcome is positive or negative. So that's probably, it's not a matter of belief. It's a matter of the facts that are given in the book that we are following, which is called Manual of Life. So, yes.
So I just wanted to mention a couple of things. So thank you, Prabhuji, for bringing those points. Those are very important points. And that's why we really need to read and delve into this knowledge, because it can be very confusing. It is, people often misuse it, like you were saying, to be lazy, right? Or somebody can misuse it to do the wrong thing and say this was bound to happen. This was my karma, or this was destined to be. So all those things. So really, we need to delve into this knowledge under the right guidance to understand it. And specific situations are difficult. It's not one for all in terms of if you have specific situations, then there are specific understanding. That's why we have Guru, who can tell us exactly how to interpret this knowledge at a specific situation, specific time, place, and circumstance. The karma concept is complicated, and actually even Krishna says that we cannot exactly put in the variables that what things have happened before, so this outcome will come. Again, that is not in our hand. Me and my friend, both of us are in the same class. We study the best. One person gets a fever, is not able to give the exam. Or we do the same, the best thing. It goes to one examiner versus other. Like school में कहते नहीं थे, oh यार वो बहुत strict teacher के पास चले गया. We get different results. So that's why the results are not in our hand. That's why we are saying. But the process, that is enough.
So you should basically, for the devotees, since they keep Krishna in center, they're always connected to Krishna. They do everything as a service, as a sacrifice, as a with detachment for him. They're able to get the direction from the heart.
And one more thing I wanted to mention is that also it is important to know this knowledge, because just like, as we said, that this is the manual of life. And just like if I go to, like I'm going going abroad to, let's say, Australia, New Zealand, somewhere, they drive on the opposite side. I can't drive on the wrong side and say, well, I did not know the rules.
Or I do not believe.
Or I do not believe in this.
You cannot say I do not believe. That will not fly. Whatever you believe or not
They know,
believe
but
is
you
not.
are here, so
not
you're
up to you.
supposed to know the rules. So this is the rule book that is being given. So,
So that's why I was saying this is
understand it.
manual of life. These are the facts. We cannot just say that I do not believe in this particular principle, so I will discard it. These are the principles. So we can only try to understand them and apply them and live our life by them. And you will see actually when you live your life by them, I mean, everything changes. Okay, next, let's go to the next topic. So next principle, Krishna talks about the world, about this Prakriti where we live, the mother nature, the material nature, the world where we live. So he says, and this, let's recite this verse. He says, Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanam samsiddhim paramangatam. So he says that this world is dukkhalayam, which means it's a source of miseries. Now that concept also does not fly with many people because they want to enjoy here. So how come Krishna is telling us that it's dukkhalayam? But Krishna is the creator, so whether or not you believe it, it's, you can stay here and keep enjoying through different species. It's up to you. So I do not believe concept does not work. This is what creator is telling us about the hardware that he has made. This hardware is faulty. It has its purpose. Its purpose is to purify you. So it will always give you dukkha. So you will not get your desired outcome. You will be frustrated in this world. You will be dealing with anxieties and fears in this world because that's meant to purify you. So ultimately, you can be cleansed of that desire to keep staying here and enjoying here because he wants us to come back. So this world will purify you. So
Nobody
this is.
can say they have got all outcomes that they desired throughout their life.
Nobody can say that exactly. So this is called life quakes. So it means that every few years or every few, in once in a decade or so, there will be some crisis situation in our life, some loss of property, some loss of wealth, some bad health or loss of loved one, different things, loss of job, many things. There will be some type of crisis, and we have all gone through those type of life quakes. I'm pretty sure everybody has gone through these life quakes in their life. So there are always crises, dangers in this world, and so Krishna, everything, yeah.
That is not a desire.
So Krishna says this world is meant for purification and reformation. So you should aim to, use this world for the purpose that it's meant for. Don't use it to enjoy, just enjoy here. Try to come back to, use it and come back to me. So then he says, in this world, there are my energies, okay, that are keeping you here, that are keeping you entangled here. I have some energies plugged in here. You will not be able to overcome those energies on your own. You will need my help. You will need to take my shelter. So on our own, by our own effort, if we just try to overcome the attractions, the temptation of this material world, we will fail. That's why we need Krishna's mercy. And that's why the process of bhakti yoga is so amazing, because when you start exchanging with Krishna, he gives his mercy. He gets you detached from this world. Yes.
I have one question.
Yes.
It's a very basic, originating that you just said that Krishna says that the world is a dukkhalaya, it's full of sorrows, and ultimately he wants us to come back to him because we are the part of him. So what is the basis of all of us are being sent to this world? What is that basis? Why we are being sent to this world? Because means what is the basic? I don't understand. Like I don't know.
Yes. So Mataji, we are not being sent here. We came here by our own free will. So we have our own free will. Nobody takes that away. Krishna is not like he's not running us like a robot. We are not his slaves. We are his servants. We are not his slaves.
Okay.
So we decided to leave. So we have used our free will to go away from him, to enjoy separately from him. It's like this. An analogy is given, like I have my daughter. Okay, so I gave her a doll set, and she starts playing with it. Okay, now she starts acting like me, and she's enjoying that. She believes that I am mom, I have my own kids here, I'm cooking food, and she starts pretend playing. She's enjoying this, right? So now she starts believing that I love this, I want to keep doing this. So in this way, we have come to this world because we had this enjoy tendency where we wanted to enjoy like Krishna. We forgot our position as a servant and we wanted to enjoy separately from him like a
So
lord.
did you mean to say that had we not chosen to come in this world, we wouldn't have?
Yes, yes. So now the mother is letting the child play, but when she realizes that actually there is no real food in that dollhouse, it's all plastic stuff, huh? And she will start crying for mother, right? So when we realize that this is Dukhalam, we'll start crying for Krishna. When we start crying for him, then we will be able to go back to him because then mother will come and take the child, right? So Krishna says in chapter 15 that this world is actually a perverted version of the spiritual world. It is just a reflection of the spiritual world. It is happening if you've seen, like in a pond, let's say there is a mango tree next to the pond. There is a reflection of the mango tree in the pond. Now, if somebody starts thinking that that reflection is real and wants to eat those mangoes or smell the flowers, can they do that? No, because it is a reflection. So there are no real mangoes, no real flowers. The real mangoes and flowers are on the real tree. So that is a real position. That's where we need to go back. Okay. So Krishna says that that's my place. That's my supreme abode. You need to come back to me because that's where the real fruits and real pleasure and real love and real happiness is. Not stay here. This is all just reflection. It will not satisfy you. This mango will not satisfy you.
Didn't we understand this back then there?
We don't even understand now.
That's why we continue like people who do a nice karma and devotee and again like go back to the Vrindavan and again like come back to you.
Sorry, but I didn't understand the
Like
question.
you said like it's the prevailing like forgot about that we are sarva until we.
Oh, okay, okay. Once you go back, no. Krishna reassures over and over again in Bhagavad Gita. He reassures you will not come back. Mam upetya tu kauntya punarjanmana vidyate. So he says, A Brahma bhuvanala loka punaravartino Arjuna mam upetya tu kauntya punarjanmana vidyate. And he keeps saying that many times actually.
So you are not in Golo Vrindavan before that. So that's what we are.
We
आपको यहाँ पे रहते रहते जूता इतना पड़ा है हमको we will not come back.
once burnt, twice shy.
हर समय जूता पड़ रहा
How the world's population is increasing there in the same soul which is taking rebirth and going around. The world's population has gone so much in this length.
Mataji, actually, the population of spiritual world is much, much more. You know that the spiritual world is like 3 times more than the material world. Material world is only 1/4 and spiritual world is 3/4. So there are always souls circulating, right? There are some falling and some going back. So yeah. And remember that the material world size also keeps changing. So it's also a perception that whether the population is really increasing or we are just occupying a smaller land now. So the land also changes.
And this is Kalyuga. So
This,
we have souls
everything is, yeah, I know.
So,
All souls have come here.
But in order to go back to Godhead, we have to be very pure in our bhakti, right? Until unless we're not pure in bhakti, we have not lived a Krishna conscious life, till then we cannot go back to Godhead. We still will be coming back and forth until. Yes.
And if you're not able to complete, that also Krishna answers. Let's say you tried, but you were not able to become perfect or pure enough. Arjuna asked that, what will happen to such a person? So Krishna said that person will get better resources in next life. So he will be born like in a devotee family or Brahman family or some family with resources where they will be able to complete that journey that they had started. Let's keep going. Is that okay? So you are asking all very nice questions, but I want to just go through a few more things. So then the next topic was time factor. Call. So Krishna talks about that, and we have actually already talked about it some, that how we are stuck in the cycle of birth and death. We are stuck in the cycle of bodies, right? Through birth and death. We are stuck in the cycle of yugas. We are stuck in the cycle of annihilation and creation also. And we are stuck in the cycle of going up and down the species and up and down the planets. And Krishna says, not only you, even somebody as advanced as Brahmaji is also stuck in this cycle. Even though their life seems very long to you, but actually they are also going up and down. Their life is actually very limited also. It may be long for you because time is relevant. So, time is relative. So it may be long for you, but even their life will also come to an end. So similarly, life of like a fruit fly or a butterfly or a tortoise lives 100 years, So everybody's life is different. Similarly, the time changes in different planets. He says time changes for different type of species. But ultimately, everybody is being controlled by time factor, by Kal. And in chapter 11, actually, Krishna shows his Kal Roop, his universal form. And he says people that are just enjoying here or performing sinful activities with this body, they're just using it whimsically without following any injunctions of scriptures or anything. Those people will actually be stuck in this cycle of time, and they will see my time form, my universal form, my Kal Roop, which is very fearsome, very fearful, and they will stay stuck here. So this is the Kal factor. So let's recite this verse where Krishna says how we get different bodies, and everybody will get a body after they leave this one. So he says, जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्युर्ध्रुवा जन्मामृतस्य च तस्मादपर्यहर्यर्थे न त्वं शोचितम् अर्हसि. So everybody who takes birth, whether it's Brahmaji, whether it's a fruit fly, whether it's a tortoise, they will all be going through this cycle of birth and death. They will keep getting different bodies. So, and then I have explained the Kal factor here, that this is Abrahma Bhuvanala Loka. Everybody is stuck in this place of misery. He also talks about Brahmaji's life in chapter 8 of Bhagavad Gita, how long Brahmaji's life is, and how many yugas crossed during Brahmaji's day and Brahmaji's night. He talks about all of that. So it's a very long life, but it is also under the control of time. Okay, then he talks about himself. So where does he, so the Bhagavad Gita is divided in, how many chapters are there? 18 chapters, and it is divided into 3 parts. So the first 6 chapters mostly are karma yoga, a little bit about dhyan yoga also. So which is action in service, action in Krishna consciousness, or action with detachment, right? The middle portion of Bhagavad Gita is more about the Lord himself. It's about bhakti yoga. Okay, who is Lord? What is our relationship with him? What are his qualities? What are his opulences? What are his different forms? What is his abode like? How should we worship him? How should we exchange relationship with him? Krishna talks about all that. How should we go back to him? How do we attain him back after this life? So all those things are in middle 6 chapters. That's called Bhakti Yoga. The last 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita are about Gyan Yoga, so about detachment. Okay, so it's often said it's divided like this: how to live your life in this world is the first 6 chapters. So that we talked about action, reaction. We should live in a way that we are not too outcome oriented, not too worried about our real successes in the performing the best action with detachment, with service attitude, with full love, full focus, full intention. That's action, or karma yoga. Okay, that is how we should live. He also talks about how to control your senses, how to control your mind. That's how you live in this world. The middle chapters talk about how to love. So how to love Krishna. And so that is Bhakti Yoga. So Krishna basically says that you have to try to develop a relationship with me. Because if you develop and I have seen this in my life, and you can also experience this is evidence-based. Again, he says this is evidence-based. You can apply and you will see the result. Okay, this is like an experiment. You do the experiment, you will see the result. You don't have to worry about what anybody tells you, anybody says. It's an experiment to be done. It's a book of science. You can do the experiment, feel the result. So he says that when you try to develop a relationship with me, actually all your other relationships will also get better. You should develop that vision where you can start seeing divinity, presence of Krishna in everything and everyone. Understand that everybody has a relationship with me. And on that level, when you start seeing people, your relationship with people also improve. And he says, I am your best friend. I'm your best well-wisher. So develop your relationship with me. So we really have to cultivate that, nurture that relationship. And he gives us how to do that. So he says, let's recite. Manmana bhava madbhaktao madhyaji mam namaskuru mamevashyasi yuktanteya mamevashyasi yuktvevam atmana madparayana. That's the other one. And then what else he says? He says, keep me in your mind, always worship me, pay obeisances, pay respects to me, right? And you will come back to me. He also says, Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana pariupasate Tesham nityabhyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. He says, and with ananya bhav, with exclusive devotion, just connect with me. Okay, only surrender to me. Only think about me. Ananya chintan sirf mera karo. Ananya bhav se. And I will carry what you lack and preserve what you have. So everybody has some weaknesses and strengths. He says, I will preserve your strengths and I will overcome your weaknesses. So whatever is the problem, like let's say I cannot control my mind. But when you are trying to establish a relationship with Krishna, he will participate in your life. He will make it easy for you to control your mind. If there are some sense urges you're not able to control, if there are some philosophical concepts you're not able to understand, if there are some practices you're not able to perform, some discipline you're not able to practice, not able to get up in the morning, some bad habits you're not able to give up, some bad qualities that you're not able to give up, some good qualities that you're not able to acquire, Krishna says those weaknesses I will overcome. So he says, yoga kshemam vahamyaham. I will carry what you lack and preserve what you have. I will preserve your strength, and what good qualities you have, I will solidify them. Whatever good ethics, morals, qualities, character, conduct, anything that you have, I will preserve those. So actually, when you take to bhakti yoga, it's not that Krishna wants to take away things from you. He will actually help you to fulfill the topmost potential of your life. He will be participating in your life. You will start seeing his presence in your life. Who does not want that? He's the topmost, he's the only wealthy person in this world. He's the only intelligent person. He's the only renounced person. He possesses all the beauty. He possesses all the fame. He possesses all the name. Such a strong, powerful person. If that person is participating in your life, imagine what your life can be, right? So that is bhakti yoga. So if you develop a connection with this powerful person, your whole life can change because you'll start seeing his participation, his reciprocation in your life. So he says, I will take care of you. He says, I will give you intelligence from within. I will light the lamp of knowledge from within. What are you worried about? I'll take care of everything. And you have to do, Prabhuji mentioned this nice point the other day. You have to do these things satatam, nityam, nitya yukta. Huh? When you are in a relationship like with my husband, do I have to work on my marriage every day or not? Every day you have to work on your marriage, right? Every day you have to work on a relationship. It's a struggle. It's an everyday struggle. It's not like ki shaadi ho gayi to khatam. No, it can break. The relationship can break. You have to work on it every day. Similarly, the relationship with Krishna, which is the most important relationship, you have to work on it every day. So how can you just neglect that relationship? And when you nourish that relationship, which is the root of everything, which is the cause of all causes and the source of all sources, automatically all your other relationships will feel the benefit. They will be nourished automatically. So if you water the roots, the whole plant, the whole tree will blossom. So that's why bhakti yoga is so important. And Krishna will participate personally because he's a person. He's a person. He will participate. So Krishna says, and these are many verses where he establishes his supremacy, that I'm pervaded into everything. I'm the best ability in the mankind. I'm the Ganga amongst rivers. I'm the Prahlad amongst demons. I'm Kuver among Rakshasas. I'm Ram amongst the warriors. I'm Himalayas among the mountains. Mind among senses. So many things he says, right? So he says, I'm the source of everything ultimately. Yes, Madhuji, please.
What is the fuel for getting into devotion with Krishna on a daily basis? I know we do all puja daily basis, but what is the fuel? Like in our relationships, we do get different paths.
Mataji asked like the perfect question. It's amazing. It's like perfect questions, right? Or like it's like hitting on the nail. So who can answer? This is the question. What should we do on a daily basis to develop our devotion?
The perfect fuel. Mataji, ऐसा क्या करें कि कृष्णा के साथ
What is the fuel to kindle that fire to develop that desire to develop that connection on a daily basis? What is that? The listening to Bhagavad Gita.
No, I think it's Naam Jap.
There are so many things listening.
Chanting is the Yug Dharma. Japa. So names of Krishna are non-different from Krishna. So everybody, let's chant together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mataji, this is the process. आपने question पूछा और answer था अगले slide में. So these are the 9 processes, but the most important is in this yuga, the prescribed method is of devotional services, chanting of the holy names.
And that I know I have realized.
Okay, so then,
Clarify, was
sure,
the
yes.
question that what is the fuel to develop the relationship? Yeah, the process of the relationship.
To develop the
So how to
relationship
get
on a
that-
daily basis. She said that it's done on a daily basis.
So how to get that want, that I want to do that?
Yeah, fuel.
Okay.
Like in our daily relationships, when you see you and your partner, you have some perks between you.
Right.
There
So
is
you get some
there is
reciprocation.
reciprocation. There is an ongoing connection, this give and take something, it's which keeps it going or rolling over. So what is the fuel here?
So Madhuri, once you do the process, you get some reciprocations. You realize those are the realizations. Once you start chanting sincerely, and this
Because
the
I think so, if
Rudy,
you
you can
not
ask.
get, I'm
जो भी
not
question
saying
है,
that
पूछ लो.
it's from within, you do the bhakti, but it should not be near a physical adambar, जिसे
Yes.
कहते हैं ना, rather than from within.
Yes,
If you do not get something from the other, that will turn into.
So we have to do our part, same way. Just like in a relationship, you have to work on from your side in the relationship to get some reciprocation. Same way is when we do the chanting, we get reciprocation, we get realizations, and the chanting itself, it is a process as well as the goal. It means the chanting will make it sweeter as you keep doing it deeper. It will, your meditation will become deeper, and you will get more taste of it.
Mataji, also hearing. Shravanam is very important. Every day you should nourish yourself by hearing about the Lord. His
And
name.
particular relationship is like a conditional, this is one condition.
Yeah. And you will reach to a point when you don't finish your round, so you don't chant, you will feel something is missing.
Mataji, these people have all tried and tested it.
Yeah, no, I do puja also daily,
Instead of puja,
but
Chanting.
chanting is
Bhagwan ka naam is non-different from Krishna. Deity worship is it has a lot of etiquettes, needs a lot of purity. So the Vandana Archana process, like deity worship, Vigraha Seva, can be done, no doubt. But it's not the Yug Dharma, because in this Yuga, we don't have very clean paraphernalia. Our body, our mind, and we don't have very much purity. So deity worship typically needs a lot of purity. So in addition to that, you can keep doing that, but add a little bit of chanting, and that will carry what you're lacking. Yeah. Right.
Internally you can chant while driving.
नहीं listening है नहीं, internally you can chant. नहीं, that is aparadh to naam and to the speaker.
I had a point because
Active listening, you have to listen. This is Bhagavad Gita, speaker, Vaishnav, Guru, Vaishnav.
To sit here and listen and get
I
the
think
question.
that grace is there.
Yes.
That grace is the fuel, and that Lord Himself bestows upon His devotees. I think so.
He will.
Even if He do not can give the physical appearance or day-to-day blessings to you, sometimes you do not see it, but still you worship. It's the grace that keeps you.
Mataji, you will have, these are
I
very
think
subtle
so.
things. There will be very subtle reciprocations and realizations, and you will become tuned. Your wavelength will change, where you will start connecting to Krishna. It's a very subtle connection. So it's not like you ऐसे कोई miracle होगा, कोई ऐसे बहुत ज़्यादा बड़ी चीजें होंगी, ऐसे goosebumps या ऐसा कुछ नहीं. It's on a very subtle basis. You will start seeing, even just like control of anger, not getting irritated, anxious, or frustrated about day-to-day situations, being able to stay sober and calm, certain things that could have gone really wrong, but you handled yourself very nicely. Those are the reciprocations that are actually coming from Krishna. Because on our own effort, we are not very capable of even conducting our own body, actually.
Internally you feel it.
Yeah.
You will feel it.
Okay, let's keep going. So these are just talking.
You can play the Mahamantra YouTube also.
Mataji, आप हाँ driving के लिए time कर सकते हो, but some reserve time just for chanting.
Exclusive karma है माता जी पहले. वो सब माता जी बोल रही हैं वो कैचअप करने का एक्सक्लूसिव
उनका नाम था
एक्सक्लूसिव होना
Okay, we are finishing. So 5 topics we have covered.
I finished my
Okay, okay. Mataji kar be exclusive. Let's go further. So last my point aaya shelter. So ultimately Krishna says all this will be made possible. Don't worry about these external dharmas. You are very much in bodily consciousness. You are very much worried about your मेरा gender के हिसाब से dharma, nation के हिसाब से dharma, professional dharma. You know, some people say my karma is my dharma. Forget about all those made up dharmas and just come to my shelter, my surrender. Come surrender unto me and I will take care of everything. So whatever actions and sinful reactions you've gotten in the past, I will clean them up. I will purify them. So everybody I think knows this verse. Please recite. सर्वधर्मान् परित्याज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वां सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचा. Ma shucha. He says, do not fear. Do not fear. Don't worry. Like it's like the top most powerful person is saying, I got you. Don't worry. So we have nothing to worry, right? Such a important person is saying that. So he says all you have to do, and we'll skip this. He says that you should do everything for me. You should become my devotee. You should surrender unto me, and give up your false ego. He says, let's just do this one. Mat chitta sarva durgani, mat prasada tarishyasi, atra chetvam ahankaram, na shroshasi vinangshasi. So he says, mat chitta, by keeping me in your consciousness, you will overcome sarva durgani, this material world. This material world is a fort, is a prison house. So you will overcome all the obstacles or durgani, all the problems of this material world. Mat prasadat, by my prasad, by my mercy, my grace, you will tarishyati, you will overcome, you will go across. At chetvam ahankaran. But if you work by ahankar, by false ego means in bodily consciousness, if you work, na shroshasi, you do not hear me, you do not listen to me. So just a parent dant lagata and you're not listening to me. If you do not listen to me, vinangshasi, you will fall down. So he says, if you do not, na shroshasi, so you can tell your kid, na shroshasi vinangshasi. So if you do not listen to me, you will fall down. So this is what Krishna is saying. And then ultimately, since we all have a free will, we talked about free will. We came here because of our own free will. So he gives Krishna, Arjun, his free will. He says, I have given you all this knowledge. Now you consider these points and see if you want to apply them, if you want to do this. I think you should fight this war because this is a spiritual cause. This is what I want. This is my purpose you will be fulfilling. This is what your body will be best served for. So please do this. I think you should fight. But now that all the knowledge is before you, you decide. I will not force you. So he's not forcing us to do anything. He will not force us to surrender. So he said, deliberate on this knowledge and then yathechasi tatha kuru. He said, whatever you desire, you do that. So then Arjun, remember how he was so confused, how he was having a breakdown. Now he has a breakthrough and he says, Krishna, I will do your will. I'm completely surrendered unto you and I will do as you say. So he says, Karishye vachanam tava, that I will do what you say. So this is what we have to do. We have to have such a strong connection with Krishna that through the help of devotees, through the help of scriptures, through the help of our guru, we can understand the heart of Krishna. We should be able to see what actions to perform, how to live our life, what qualities should we acquire. So what principles to live by. And that will please Krishna and that will keep his word. So Karishye Vachanam Tava. So this is complete transformation. He says, I have lost my nasht moha. Now I'm not in moha. I have lost that attachment, that fearful situation that he was in. That's gone. Smriti labda. I now know my original position as your servant. So then his decision was, this was his decision. And finally, in the end of Bhagavad Gita, Sanjay, who was narrating this whole Bhagavad Gita to Dhritarashtra, he says that, I believe that whoever is a devotee of Krishna and wherever there is Krishna, there will be all victory, there will be all morality, all opulence, everything will reside there. So if you become a devotee and you have Krishna in your life, there will be all success, all positivity, all morality, all good ethics, everything will come automatically. So we bring Krishna in our life and make him the chariot driver, right? and everything will be good. So this is the quick breakdown of Bhagavad Gita. I'm sorry for going long, but
Interesting, Mataji.
so this is Bhagavad Gita, more than 5,000 years old. 3 yoga paths: Bhakti, Karma Yoga, Gyan Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. 1 goal: to surrender. 5 topics, you all know, we covered. 18 chapters are there, 700 verses. This is Bhagavad Gita. So please take some Bhagavad Gitas. Please start reading. You can read 1 verse a day. You can please write your realization. You can reach out to me, to other devotees. You can join classes. You can hear. You start chanting, and by remembering Krishna, he will give you the intelligence by which you can understand him, by which you can, understand all this philosophy. He will give the intelligence from within. It will become very easy. Like you will see when you start reading, spend more and more time with this. Everything becomes very easy because Krishna will make it easy. So thank you everyone. We'll stop. Vancha kalparubhescha kripa sindhubhya vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah. Shri Bhagavad Gita Upanishad ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Guru and Garanga. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Radhe Shyam. Thank you, Mataji, for joining. I'm going to stop the call. Hare Krishna. Okay, any other questions? Realizations? We maybe, I don't know what's Mataji's plan for Prashadam. Yeah, I think we have 5 minutes for questions if somebody wants to.